G'day everyone, thanks for stopping by. Today we're going to have a look at what's in this box over here behind me. Now I've literally just gone out and picked it up, so I'm going to get stuck into it. It's about 4:30 in the afternoon, got a little bit of sun up there, so hopefully we can get this done. I'm guessing it's only going to take me about 15 minutes aside, if that gives you an idea of what we're looking at. But anyway, let's crack open the box and I'll give you a look at what I've got inside. I'm actually really surprised by the size of this box. Anyway, I'll drop it down here. So we've got a little bit of foam on top. Now keeping in mind these aren't new, I just picked these up second hand and they come at the right price. Now they're not what you are going to initially think they are. But have a look at that. Second hand, so they're not perfect. And I wasn't really looking at the chrome, I was actually looking at the black ones, so these may or may not get a coat of paint. They do slide out and extend. Now these aren't clear views, even to me, they look pretty much the same as the clear views. That being said, I haven't spent that much time looking at clear views. The only time I've realistically spent it looking at clear views is looking at the cost and then moving off to look at something else. Now there are a number of different mirrors on the market. I'll put some up on the screen here because I can't remember off the top of my head, but obviously you've got the clear views, and then there was another one that seems pretty popular with the Pajeros. I'll get that up on the screen there, but these are the ones that are listed as Tuff Terrain, and I think it's Outback 4 Drive or something that have these, and I'll again put it up on the screen. You can have a look at that. These retail for around about $450 for the Pajero. If you're looking at clear views, you're looking 900 plus. And then the other ones, I can't remember, but I'll get that and I'll put it all up on the screen. I'll give you some rough costs. I actually picked up the set of these for 200 bucks. Old mate had written off his Pajero, they've been written off for hail damage, and he had these, took them off and sold off all the accessories. So I got them for 200 bucks. Again, I wasn't necessarily looking to replace the mirrors. I've always liked the look of these type mirrors on the Pajero. Again, albeit I would have preferred the black over the chrome. They may get a coat of paint later on. But towing the caravan, I've tried different mirrors, and to be honest, caravan mirrors and towing mirrors is just shit. And I'll give you a look at what's happened with my mirrors at the moment. My driver's side mirror, and you can see I've had the caravan mirrors that used to hook onto this piece here and onto this piece here. And you can see, hopefully you can see here, all this is split. This is all split here, up the top as well. So the weight of those mirrors has just cracked that. And look, I think it was a little bit cracked when I originally got it, but having those mirrors on it didn't do any favours. So that's cracked there, it's split there. The mirror still works and does everything it needs to do. As far as the passenger side goes, you can see that I've lost the back off this mirror. This is up in the Wattigans there somewhere. I know the track it's actually on, but I haven't gone back. It was pretty closed off track. By the time I got to the end of it, which was reasonably long, this was gone. So, and frankly, I've never gone back to have a look for it. I probably could have, but just haven't. As you can see here, we've got 3 bolts on the back that are just nuts, so I'll have to undo those. We're going to have to take the trim off inside the Pajero, so we'll show you how to do that. Should be really easy. I've had that off, I think, to replace the little tweeter speakers in the corner, so it should be pretty straightforward. Now these do have indicators on the outside, LED indicators on the outside. Now my GL model doesn't have indicators on the mirrors. Now it does have the control for being able to adjust the mirrors. So I'm kind of hoping that once I plug this in, I'm hoping that the wiring harness for the indicators is all still in there, and it's literally a case of just plugging it in and then that's going to work. Now they're a little bit scratched, got a few dents, but as I said to old mate, I said, mate, I'm not worried about it. I bought my 4-wheel drive to go off-road. They're probably going to get more scratched with me using them anyway. Anyway, let's go and jump into this and go and have a look. If you've got clear views or something, or any of the other ones, post a comment down below. I'd be really interested in your feedback. More specifically, I want to know how the ones that I'm putting on here compare to your clear views. Do they look exactly the same? Is there something different? Do you think there's a quality difference there? If you've got aftermarket mirrors on your Pajero, shoot me a comment down below, will you? And let everybody know what you think of them, whether you've been happy with them, etc, etc. All we're going to need to do, I'm just going to pop this section off here. Hopefully that's going to give us access to all the bolts. I've got a feeling we're going to need to drop this interior door panel as well. I'm hoping not. I'm hoping that's going to give me sufficient access, which we can probably just do here. As far as removing the tweeter cover, there is just the one little pop there. So you just pop that out and we'll have a look. Okay, so now that we've pulled that off, you can see we've got one bolt here. And if you look down just behind that panel, we've got one there and one over that side as well. I'm going to see if we can get away with just undoing this here and pulling that panel away. Otherwise, if we've got to take that panel off, we've got to take this door lever out. And frankly, it's just a bit of a pain in the backside to get that out and then get it all to clip back up. If for any reason you need to take this panel off, I do have a video up in the, I don't know, left-hand corner there or something, where I've taken the front doors off and show you how to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to undo this screw here and see whether I can just lever that out enough to get those bolts off to that mirror. Okay, so I don't know whether you've actually played with any of these aftermarket mirrors or physically held them to get an idea of their size, but I'm telling you now, they are massive. So obviously this is the standard mirror. And just to give you a comparison in size, that is what we're looking at. So as far as width goes, they're probably about the same. You've probably got about another 2 inches in depth just with this main section here, and then you've obviously got this lower section which you can angle down for tyres. Whether you're forward driving looking at your own rear tyres or whether you're looking at the rear tyres on the caravan, this is going to come in very handy. Let's see about getting this one off. Fingers crossed we don't have to pull the panel. You've seen these before. These are my ratchet spanners that I picked up from Super Cheap so many jobs ago. And I think I've mentioned this before, I like to buy myself a set of tools or something for any major job that I do. I like to treat myself and go and buy, you know, a set of spanners or something along those lines. It's going to come in handy for later on. So these ones I actually bought specifically for doing the fan belts on the car, just because I needed to get into specific angles, and they are a ratchet with an open spanner on the other end. But the thing that makes them awesome is that they bend on the end as well, so you can go 180 degrees on those. So yeah, these are really bloody handy. Anyway, let's have a look. I'm assuming a 10mm, which is what I've grabbed, and we're right. And because I can get this in there and then I can angle it, it's going to allow me to work around the tight space basically. Just providing I don't drop anything in here. The ones that are on the back of the other ones are actually just nuts. So in theory they should be easy enough for me just to pop on and then tighten up with this. What I'm going to do is just take this top one off just so I can actually see what I'm working with, so what the others look like. It gives me an idea of how far I've got to back it off, you know, what I'm working with. So we're just working with a little bolt. I'm going to put that one back in because I prefer that to be taking the weight of the top while I'm working on those bottom ones, because it's going to take the weight off the bottom ones and just make it a little bit easier to come out. I thought I might be able to get this off without taking that panel off. I didn't say it was going to be easy. Realistically, it could be quicker for me to do it the other way, but anyway. And if you do, get your tongue in the right position. You get that? Kind of look at this. In the corner is our wire that's coming from the mirror. Pull that panel out, you can actually see where it just connects into that block there, and that was, I think you can see hopefully that there, that's the 2 bolts go through this little bracket here, and on that bracket is the wire block or the junction box coming from the mirror. So I need to access that. I think we can pop that with a screwdriver. Grab yourself a little flathead screwdriver, just going to reach in, push on the lever, and slide her out. Job's a good one, there we go. That's all of our bolts out, and then what we're going to do is lift this. There we go, lift, and then pull out. And there's a little bit of glue up on this corner here. So this is where your wire goes through. Holes that we're working with is this one here, here, and here. This was the located tab, so when we undid that mirror, I had to lift it up, and so that screw can come out of there. There are a couple of other screw holes there, but anyway, we don't need to worry about those. A little bit of dirt in there. Surprisingly clean, so you could give that a clean up if you wanted to while you're in here. But so what we're going to do first is just take the nuts off the back of this. It probably wouldn't hurt to put star washers on, a little bit of Loctite, something like that. But being that it's reasonably easy for me to get to, I'm not going to worry about it. It wouldn't even hurt to go and get some nylocks for these. So these do have the star washer kind of on the back, so that should tighten up nicely. We're going to crank down on these. There is the rubber backing on here, so that should provide a decent seal behind that mirror, but you'd have to be pretty unlucky to have water come in here. And feed that through there and just line up our bolts, hopefully, and push her on, and that's what she's going to look like. Woohoo! Let's go and grab that first nut and put her on that top one. Just tighten her up just a little bit, just to pull that into place so she can't come off. Tightening this up just a little bit, just to make sure that's going to hold on. So that comes up a little bit further than the original there, I think. But that is a nice fit. The rubber's going on there well. It is moulded to go over that, so that's good. So on the website and the advertisement did say 2001 up, and I'm happy to report this is my 2010, and these are a match. So if they're going to fit the 2010, they're going to fit the later models there as well. And just on the inside, so this is the first one that we've sort of stuck on and tightened up just a little bit. So all we need to do is get the other two nuts on there and tighten those up. But before we do that, let's grab our plug and get in the back there and plug that in. Because frankly, I want to know whether my indicators are going to work. Kind of hoping they're going to, but kind of hard to say whether I'm expecting them to or not, to be honest. I'm hoping, but anyway, somewhere in the middle. I'm 50-50. You can see the indicator there. I'm going to jump over to the driver's seat, click her on, see what happens. Let's just put the hazards on. You bloody beauty. Have a go at that. Indicators are working. So, but I quite like the look of that. There's basically one big indicator that's made up of two banks. So you've got the top bank there and the bottom bank there. You can say if you've got a standard model with GL like I've got there, and you throw on an aftermarket mirror, in theory, if it works like mine, I can't guarantee you that, but if it works like mine, you should just be able to plug and play to get your indicators on your mirror. Replacing your mirrors even with standard Mitsubishi ones, and you can find yourself a set that got the indicators on them, grab them because they should work. I'm just going to go and jump over and then just try and adjust this mirror, make sure that's working. Okay, so we've got full control there. We don't have folding. Now that's going to be a bit of an annoyance for me. This is the main reason I've been avoiding getting aftermarket mirrors, because doing a lot of tight tracks in the four-wheel drive. Now this is tight. One there. One there. Mirrors in. Otherwise we're not getting through. While we're playing with our mirrors, a couple of little tricks I'm going to show you in case you didn't know about your Pajero. Let's jump in the car. So here's your control for your standard mirrors. So you flick it right to control your right mirror, flick it left to control your left mirror, put it in the middle to stop it controlling any of the mirrors, and that's pretty much where you want to do it, just in case you bump it. You hit this button here, and that will fold your mirrors in. Hit it again, and they will go out. So I'm assuming everybody knew that. If you didn't, so be it. What you maybe didn't know, so if you get out of your car and you lock it using your key or your fob. Got a door open, hang on. Now if you ever go to lock your Pajero and it won't lock, you're just hitting the button and just nothing happens, it means you've got a door open. So just go and shut your door. Now when you go to lock it, if you hit your fob once, that'll lock the car. Hit it twice, nothing happens. Hit it the third time, and if you've got folding mirrors, that'll pull them in. Now you can't reopen them with the button. You need to be in the car and pop them out yourself or travel over 20 kilometers an hour. Once you hit 20, those folding mirrors will open them up themselves. But again, if you're just locking the car up, go 1, 2, 3, and there goes your mirrors. Okay, so the good news is we've got full control and we've got indicators on our mirrors now, so I'm really happy with that. So all I need to do is just get in here, put those other two nuts on the back of this, button it back up, put our tweeter on. The real challenge is getting those nuts on without dropping them down in the door and then have to take the panel off anyway. I'm not going to speak too soon, but I'm not going to put the mockers on this. Run up as far as you can by finger. And then around to your ratchet, buddy. Now, if you don't have a set of these spanners, you're probably not getting a normal ratchet in here, like obviously, because the bit's going to be too big, it's just not going to probably fit in there, you're not going to have room to work. You probably could do it with a ring spanner. Now again, I'm just cranking on these. You probably could do it with a ring spanner or an open-ended spanner. It's going to take you some time because there is a bit of thread on these. But you could do it, and you know, alternatively again, pull the panel, follow the instructions in the video up there in the corner, and that'll show you how to do it. I am noticing as I'm tightening these other ones up, it's really pulling this into the door, which is giving me an awful lot more thread on the other one. And I'm probably going to recommend that you tighten the bolts up first before you connect that wire up. The reason I say that is now that I've connected that wire up to see whether she's actually going to work, it's actually getting in the way. So connect your wire up last. So now before we go and do the other side, I might as well show you how these work. So this is how far they stick out as standard. So that's already a lot further out than the standard mirrors. But they also extend, so you can grab them and pull them out. Put the specs on the screen, how far they're out, how far they are when they're pulled out. You can see they come out a lot further, that's going to be handy for towing. The other thing to know is they will fold in. So if you grab it and pull her in, she will fold in, but it doesn't fold in a great deal. I would prefer them to be a little bit flatter. But the other good news is if you hit something or somebody's walking past and you've got your mirrors out, they will fold forward as well. Looks a little bit weird. Probably realistically not any closer to the vehicle than if you folded them back. But that is what they look like folded forward. If I grab it, that is in its normal position. And just grab it again and pull. And that is in its closed position. Now you can see how far they're sitting out. I prefer that would have come a lot closer to the vehicle than that, because I reckon I'm going to be on some tracks and I think that's going to cause me some issues. I really just wanted to replace those mirrors because they needed to be replaced. You know, had I gone and tried to find myself a replacement mirror and had to go to bloody Mitsubishi, I would have paid a lot more, I reckon, than $200 for just a single mirror. Anyway, see how long this one takes. Three minutes to take one off. Putting the other one on. So 12:3, probably about 6 minutes. Alright, let's just check, make sure that is working. Let's have a look at the indicators. Keeping in mind that I did buy these second hand, the bolt or the screw on the top of that one tightened up, but then it would loosen off and then tighten up and then loosen off. So what I might need to do at a later stage is just stick a washer under that, because I'm not entirely sure. I might go and grab myself, or I might just go and grab myself some nylock nuts and do that, at least those top ones, because that top one was a little bit loose. Frankly, I think I'm most excited about just having indicators on the mirrors more than anything else. Just see whether we've got control of this one. Flick it over to the right. Now, they are a little bit noisy, but that's no biggie. Down, up, and obviously these ones here are adjustable manually. Love when parking, especially being able to see the bottom of those tyres, just be able to see where the gutter is, etc. And this is going to be excellent, even just like that. The standard mirrors I didn't find too bad for towing, but obviously legally I think you're meant to have those on. But legally I think you're meant to be able to see the back corner of your caravan. So these, even in this position, are going to be excellent. Obviously I can adjust those out. And let's just see whether we can slide them out from in the vehicle. Okay, it's not something I look like I'm going to do from inside, so try it with the other arm. No, so I don't think you're pushing these out by hand from inside the vehicle, so it's an out of the car job. So pull it out. Yeah, there's a bit of strength required there. Whether I can lube those up or not. Now they are just a pretty light plastic. I can feel that there. There's not a lot of heft to it. The mirror is massive though. And again, just testing functionality. So fold into the vehicle, out, and fold forward. So let's just see if we can get you an idea of what they look like from the front of the car. So that's what they look like in their standard operating position as far as being pushed in. So they are immediately wider than the standard. Jeez, dogs get the shit out of me. They are obviously a lot wider even in that position than the originals were. So that's a fair amount of width that you're actually gaining over the standard ones, even with them in. Throw them out, and that's massive. I'm even going to have to be real careful coming down the driveway with those things out. I must admit, I do quite like the look of proper truck mirrors, you know, on the Pajero. Albeit again, I would have preferred them to be black. I think it would have just fitted in with the trim. But anyway, there's too much more I've got to tell you about the mirrors. Obviously they're mirrors. They are adjustable from inside the cab. The same, they were plug and play, and they do say they are that. The indicators work even though I've got the GL, and my original mirrors didn't have the indicators on it. So chances are, if you've got a lower spec Pajero, and it often is the case, they run the wires in all of them, and then they just add all the extra bits. So generally as a rule, you tend to have the wires. Even though I've got the GL and I don't have heated seats, I've got the wiring harness running underneath. So if I went out to buy some, if I went out and bought myself some heated seats, in theory I could just plug them in and they'd work. Don't quote me on that. The same as it has just here. So the harness was already there, it was already connected up. All I needed was a mirror with an indicator on the back. We're about 50 subscribers away from the 7,000. Frankly, I never thought I'd get that far, but it's been a great journey. Try and get a little bit more active again on YouTube and try and get a few more things done. I'm not always going to spend money on the Pajero. That's the Tuff Terrain towing mirrors. I'll put a link up to the website. I think it's Outback something or rather. When I pulled the trigger and told old mate that I was going to come down and get these, a set of clear views did pop up, but they're $500, and that's 400 to 500 is about what I see second-hand clear views going for. And frankly, for $200, these don't look that much different. Again, correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments, but for $200, I'm happy as a pig in it, and I've got indicators on my mirrors. So anyway, thanks very much for stopping by. If you've got any questions, throw them out, but it's pretty straightforward. If you've got aftermarket mirrors, whether it's these Tuff Terrain ones, whether it's the other brand that I can't think of at the moment, or the Clearviews, whatever, put a comment down below, let me know what your opinions are and how they might vary from these ones and whether they're worth the bucks, do you reckon? I'm pretty happy with these. So that's it. Thanks very much for stopping by. Catch you on the next one.